Hi everyone, and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul, and today we once again have a special guest from ASUS. This is JJ, and thank you very much for joining us today, JJ.
Thank you, Paul.
What we are going to talk about for this video is ASUS networking products. We have some ASUS routers, we have some ASUS adapters, and we're going to talk about why networking is good and what the ASUS family of networking products can do for you folks out there who might want to get maybe some better bandwidth for, say, things like video streaming, and who just want to take advantage of some of the newer technologies that are out of there that can help you network your home and access the internet.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it really on the head. I mean, we're not necessarily as known for our networking product line, but it's something that we've been committed to for quite some time, and we've definitely spent a lot of time really listening to the feedback from the community of users as a whole, as well as to the industry partners that we work with at improving a lot of aspects when it comes to our design, whether it's the ID and the aesthetic, as you see these routers look very different, or whether it's the internal hardware, or whether it's the GUI that ties everything together. I mean, networking is really kind of like a backbone of the digital home nowadays. If you take a look at what you're doing in your homes, 9 times out of 10, it's probably related somehow to the internet, right? Whether it's via a hardline connection or whether it's a Wi-Fi enabled connection. And so networking products are really kind of the backbone to tie that all in together. And they can really make or break sometimes the experience that you have, whether it's on a notebook, whether it's on a tablet, whether it's on a desktop, whether it's not even on a smartphone that you're connected, via Wi-Fi with. So what we're trying to do is help users understand some of the technologies and some of the benefits that we're introducing within our networking products. And specifically, the first ones that we're going to dive into here are actually our routers, because with really routers, they're kind of that key component system that a lot of users are looking to find kind of the right unit to go with. It's going to be able to enable the connectivity and the feature stack that they're looking for relative to their usage model, right? So we've got two models that we have here. We have the RTN56U, which is our current flagship unit. And then we have the RTN53 unit, which is our secondary unit right behind the 56U. Now, both of these units carry a couple of key technologies that we've kind of been really focused at introducing to the market. One is an easy interface. A lot of users kind of get confused by a lot of the configuration parameters that can surround networking. They're unsure of, how it ties into working with their modem, how to initialize, whether it's PPOE, whether it's a static IP, whether it's a dynamic IP. Even all these things start to make people's just headache, and they're just like, okay, I just want to return it. So our big focus was to integrate a firmware within the router that was pretty much automatic. So first and foremost, the user has the ability that once they purchase this unit, they can go ahead and connect it and just connect their modem to this router. There's no actually even CD required to run. They just directly connect everything. As soon as they open up their web browser, the router is going to automatically start talking to the actual modem, and it'll start initializing the signal. It'll automatically set it to whether you're a cable user or whether you're a DSL user, and it'll just walk you through some easy steps in terms of you setting up maybe what's your network name going to be, what's the password going to be for your network, and within a couple minutes you'll be up and online. So that's something that we've worked very hard on at making sure that the process to set everything up is very seamless, it's easy, and it also looks good, that the GUI doesn't really look archaic like you're looking at an operating system from 10 years ago or something like that. So that's a hallmark in terms of something that you're going to find on our routers, is that easy interface. Secondary to that is a commitment to performance. ASUS is a company that really prides itself on strong performing products. We have a world-class R&D team, so we spent a lot of time, and we have patented designs even in the antenna designs that we have for both of these routers. Both of these routers actually utilize dual band operations, so that means that they can work at 2.4 gigahertz, which is great for your normal everyday, web connectivity for like surfing, checking email, basic photo sharing, things like that. But then they also have the 5 gigahertz band, which works really well for HD video streaming, high bandwidth video transfers, system backups across Wi-Fi, variable bit rate, transmission, things like Hulu and Netflix, things like that work really well for the 5 gigahertz band, assuming that your hardware supports that. And both of these models have the ability to actually run not only 2.4 or 5, but they can actually run them simultaneously. So that's a big benefit as well. And as part of kind of that also performance aspect, we also want to make it easy once again for the user. If you take a look at kind of your classic old school routers, there's some type of antenna sticking out of it, right? And usually kind of had to like maybe tweak it, bend it, you want to kind of adjust it to get the best signals. But we actually have a patented 3 antenna design internally housed in here that's been positioned for optimal omnidirection coverage. And what we mean by that is omni is circular. So you don't necessarily have to worry about positioning it at one key place to try to get whole house coverage. So you're going to be able to get a wide range of coverage. And that comes from, the support that it's the latest generation in 802.11n. It supports MIMO technologies, which is multiple input, multiple output. These specialized technologies help to adapt against interference, help to switch bands automatically so that you can minimize crosstalk from other devices, whether those are phones or microwaves, or even competing access points or wireless routers from your neighbors, right? I mean, we all know that we look for wireless signals nowadays, right? When you pop up, it's how many can you see, right?
Yeah.
10, 15, 20, right? And all these can sometimes overlap and cause issues. So it's important that the radio design on a hardware level has been tweaked and tuned to try to give you the best performance possible. So that's something that we pride ourselves on. We also have a couple of key characteristics that we can see on a physical level here. So as for example, if we take a look at this RTN56U, right? This unit actually supports full gigabit Ethernet ports, right? So this is great for the high performance users like myself. I've got a number of different desktops all at home that all use gigabit, and this is great if you have high speed connection sharing enabled at home so that you can transfer large gigabit data packets really quickly, really effectively. We then have two USB ports actually on the unit, and the USB ports are actually really cool because they allow you to do a lot of different things. One is that we have actually a special powered hub built into this so that actually you could take a normal external 2.5-inch mechanical hard drive from USB and connect it, and it would be powered. A lot of other solutions, sometimes you still have to have some type of external power brick connected to be able to correctly power those devices because the router itself doesn't have the ability to power the USB device itself. So we've even made it more accessible in terms of actually making sure that it works. But in some terms of some of the special functions that we'll look at when we launch the GUI, we'll show that to you in a little bit, is that you have one option for print sharing. So let's say you have, of course, one printer in your home, maybe like an all-in-one for scanning, printing, copying, stuff like that. And you've got maybe two notebooks, a desktop, and a tablet, right? You don't want to have to each one of those devices have to connect to the printer to be able to print, right? So you can go ahead and connect your printer directly to here, and then all of a sudden it becomes a network-based printer. So then all of these systems have the ability that they can go ahead and utilize that printer all through the Wi-Fi or through the physical connection. So it makes it a very seamless process. Another option would be, as we discussed, connecting a USB-enabled hard drive, and all of a sudden that becoming a semi-NAS-based storage device where everybody now has access to that hard drive and they can read and they can write from it dynamically. We even extend that further with special software cloud functions where we can allow you to actually access your external hard drive through the internet. So let's say if you're here, at the Newegg offices, right, but you've got maybe some files or something like that at home and you want to be able to access them, all you have to do is just log into the web page and you can actually access your external hard drive that's connected to your router at home. So you can essentially have ever-present connection. And so that's a nice flexibility that we're offering that's built in with the GUI. It's very seamless for the user that they can just go into a couple of checkboxes, enable that they want to share it across the web, and they're good to go. They don't really need to understand all these FTP or Samba or all these protocols that a lot of people just don't really have the understanding about enabling and making usable to them. So some of these are some of the key functions that we have on the unit. Now looking over here at the RTN53, we have a very similar finish in terms of the actual look and the feel of the unit. They're both using this lattice finish design, which it looks really nice. Both these units don't necessarily look like your classic router, but they're high performance, they look good, and they give you a lot of connectivity. We go to a little bit of a different connection type on this unit in terms that this one, it's still offering a high level of performance in terms of the Wi-Fi connectivity, but you step down to 10/100 connectivity as opposed to gigabit connectivity, and you don't have the USB ports enabled. So this might be for a user that's maybe just looking for really good Wi-Fi connectivity and normal landline connectivity for their network at home, but they're maybe not as an enthusiast or maybe looking for ever-present connectivity for a lot of devices across their network. So those are some of the options that we offer in terms of our primary routing products, and we'll definitely look at some of the other options that we have in the GUI in a little bit. Relative to the other products that we have here, we have just other options that are available to users that are looking to integrate Wi-Fi, whether it's on their mobile products or whether it's on their desktop products. We can see on that side we have a number of different wireless adapters that are PCIe based. So as you know, we're big fans of PCIe slots on our motherboards, right?
Of course. So here we're essentially have an entire range of PCIe networking adapters ranging from our PC N10
which is 150 megabits for the data throughput, then stepping over to the N13, and then we step over to the flagship N15, which supports the 300 megabits data throughput. And we do some special things in terms of the software. One of the cool things that we offer is that all these cards can also be enabled into a software access point. So the cool thing about that is that maybe if you have a small form factor gaming box, or you're in a portable LAN situation, just kind of different environments like that, these cards can actually create their own wireless access point. So you can enable that very quickly in a piece of software that allow you to create your own wireless access point without necessarily having a router. So it can receive the internet signal that's being sent to them, and then you can create your own, guest network if maybe you're in a situation where you want to be able to extend the internet to somebody else around you. You can see we go with a very small form factor package design, so it's not a big footprint. Usually it's going to go into like a buy one slot on one of your motherboards. You're going to be good to go. We're very big advocates of supporting, of course, removable antennas. So that way, if you want to be able to maximize your signal strength with going with a higher dB, a higher decibel rated antenna, such as this high gain antenna that we offer for both routers, as well as supporting wireless adapters, you could go that route. So you got a lot of flexibility in terms of, having really a wireless adapter for each kind of level of usage, with the N10 being focused at kind of entry-level users that are just looking for maybe email and web browsing. Then we step over to N13, which is really good for kind of like general usage. They do a little bit of everything. And then we go over to the N15, which are guys that are really looking for the best Wi-Fi performance that even maybe gets close to actually offering the performance of 10100 Ethernet. So really kind of every single level of usage.
And of course, you can always get one of these big antennas to increase your range.
Yes, and this one specifically is generally more catered to like our products like the RTN 16, which is also a 3 antenna based router that we offer that supports DD, WRT, and open source firmware developed in the community, which gives you a lot of administrative options or different configuration parameters for your router. But this is just another way to help extend the signal coverage and the strength of the actual Wi-Fi signal, whether you're in an office environment or whether you're in a large home where you're looking to increase the coverage over a large square footage.
And these are great for desktops, of course, but we also have some USB versions over here as well?
Correct, yeah, and this will still also, of course, work for any user that's on a desktop, but generally these type of adapters are a little bit focused more towards the mobile market, but still definitely there are users that in desktop environments, maybe you don't want to run, of course, the cable, halfway across, your house. You can use one of these Wi-Fi adapters. In the same regard, we go with very easy accessible model numbers. We've got the USB N10, so same thing like this one, entry level, really focused, very small footprint. We can see that it's smaller than even most flash drives.
Yeah.
And this one's going to give you 150 megabits, so general like email, web browsing, things along those lines. And it still also offers the software access point feature that we discussed on those units. For the N13, we step up to 300 megabits performance. This is really a great adapter, and we'll showcase some of the performance benefits you can have even compared to Wi-Fi in your notebook, right? Because every notebook that you buy nowadays, right, already has Wi-Fi.
Usually.
So why would you necessarily need to upgrade, right? And we're going to show you some of the actual unknown characteristics regarding performance as to why it actually might make sense for you to consider a USB-enabled adapter.
Okay.
Okay. And then lastly, we have our brand new USB N53, which is not only 300 megabits, but it's also 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So this is really a high performance USB adapter. So this is really for somebody that's interested in having super high range, strong signal performance, and they want a lot of performance in terms of being able to do large file transfers, HD video streaming. They want to minimize lag if they're doing online gaming or a number of things like that. So you can see kind of we cover the entire range in terms of networking products, whether you're going to be upgrading a desktop with a USB or PCIe device, routers to get you up and online and be able to give you a lot of connectivity, and high performance products like this little guy here, which it even matches right with the finish of the N53
Got that
here.
nice lattice reflective coating on there.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an overview regarding some of the networking products and some of the functions and features that we offer. We're really happy about bringing these products to the market. We stand behind them with a large amount of support. A lot of the community is always interested in terms of continual firmware updates, and just like we offer really good BIOS updating for our motherboards, the same thing. We listen to a lot of our feedback in the community and continually try to improve the compatibility and performance of these networking products as well.
All right, and you mentioned a bit of a demo test here?
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and actually take a look at the GUI, and from there we'll go to the test.
Okay.
Great. All right, so here we are. We've got our RTN56 actually connected. We actually just went directly into the Windows Networking Manager, where actually our RTN56U is registered. We went to the device webpage, and we went ahead and just launched directly into the console. And as you can see, we actually have a really nice clean GUI available to you here that shows you an immediate map. At this point right now, we don't have a WAN connection, so we don't have an IP coming in, so it's telling us that we are disconnected. But we can see that it's showing us real-time status of our desktop being connected. It shows actually we have a flash drive connected to the USB port, and here we have easy mapped out settings for our 2.4 and 5 gigahertz band and all the quick adjustments that we can make to this. Now, some of the cool options that you have available to you is that if I were to go ahead and click, let's say, on this USB-enabled device, you can see right here it already starts giving me some options in terms that I can enable access for this via UPnP, because our routers do support both UPnP and DLNA. We have an AI disk wizard, which is pretty cool, because if we click on this, it actually allows us to share whatever USB device we have through the internet on our own created FTP server. And we handle actually all the backend directly within the router's interface, so the user would just have to click go, go through these little quick setup options, which are also clearly detailed here in the help menu to allow you to quickly set up a way of accessing these files through the internet. In addition to that, that UPnP server that we discussed helps to enable these devices, whether they are other systems like a notebook, a digital media player, a console, USB devices, to also be recognized throughout all your other devices in your digital home. Some of the other special functions that these routers also enable is a form of QoS, or quality of service management. So you can see here we have some built-in presets, whether you're gaming, whether you're doing a lot of downloading, or whether you're doing FTP, video streaming, Skype, services like that. So you can go ahead and click on these, and it will auto-configure the router to go ahead and give you the best performance. And for people that are looking to see what type of performance their internet service connection is impacting, they can go ahead and go to a traffic monitor, and they can see how much data they're actually downloading, this is great, because as we know, ISP providers are starting to do bandwidth caps and things like that, so it's great to be able to have this real-time information available to us. In addition to that, these units even also support a special function that's called Download Manager, which allows you to install a very little simple application to your desktop, and when you right-click on a file to download in the internet, you can actually have your router handle the download, so that even if you were to shut down your system, the download will still keep occurring, and it'll just download it to your externally connected USB device. So these are definitely some of the options that we have enabled in our easy interface, and there's definitely more that you guys can always check out, whether it's in our support pages or in our forums.
And that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Once again, this has been the ASUS family of networking products, routers, and adapters. And JJ, thank you very much for stopping by once again and sharing all of this information with us.
As always, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We hope you guys have learned a lot, because I certainly have. If you enjoyed today's video and want to see more tech videos, please head over to our Newegg YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you'd like to hang out with JJ and his friends and family, you can head over to the ASUS ROG forums at asusrog.com. I'm Paul with Newegg TV, and we will see you next time.